Hi guys, today is October 15th, 2021, and I'm going to be giving you some information that I did on a reading on Sara Ann Wood and her case last night. And I'm going to use the Southern Gothic Oracle deck here, just to ask if she'll be found. And I'm going to give you some background on her case, just in case you're not familiar with her. She is likely the victim of Louis Lent, who confessed to kidnapping her and murdering her. And she was 12 years old. And she went missing August 18th, 1993 from near Frankfort, New York, upstate New York. Her father was a pastor at the Coroner's Church in Norwich, and she had been to Bible study there and was bicycling home on a pink and white 10-speed mountain bike. Now her bike and her, I think, books and some papers and stuff like that were found later. However, her body has never been found. And Louis Lent confessed to her killing, and he said that he left her along in a gravesite with another victim of his, in a lake Raquette, and they've looked all around that area, but they've not been able to locate where this gravesite is. I think that Louis Lent knows. I think he's keeping it as a way of feeling clever for himself. And what I picked up before I knew that he had confessed that she was in a grave with another victim was that she was in a grave with another individual. There were two people in one gravesite. I actually got that now. I was just, and then to read later and to see that he had confessed this, it was eerie. And he was an ordained minister of the Church of Christ. This guy's really, Louis Lent was really, really sick. And he's in prison for life without parole now. He killed a number of children. And the interesting thing, too, was that Sara showed me herself as an adult. So it's, and the other victims as adult. So that was something I found interesting as well. Like, they've aged up on the other side. And I could tell it was her because I found her birth date as March 4th, 1981. She was a Pisces, and I kept getting Queen of Cups. And occasionally I would get like a Knight of Cups, but I keep getting her as a grown woman, identifying as a grown woman now on the other side. And she was showing me that there's a male that has aged up that she was buried with on the other side. And that there is another female victim, a Queen of Wands, who I think also was probably a youth at the time of her death. There's a good possibility, because I felt like I was being shown this pattern of them as being adults now. Sometimes you'll get things like that, little things like that in a reading. That make it unique. So he was described, Louis Lent, as an unstable loner and a liar, and frustrated at the world because he had trouble to follow direction. He was working at a movie theater as a custodian, and he would work pretty much unseen at late. So it gave him a lot of cover. And in fact, one of his victims, he lured in, I believe, and held somewhere, perhaps in the theater, a victim until he did what he did, and awful. So he used his job as well for victims. And they said that they didn't like to give him, and here he is, the custodian, but the theater didn't want to give him access to cleaning supplies because, quote unquote, he couldn't follow directions. And I think somebody thought that he'd get up to something weird. But I don't know. I just find that a very strange thing. I see that he really planned out his abductions, which isn't unusual, but I was able to confirm that. And I think he really got off on, creating that it was the process, very sick. So he's said to have told police that she was buried with another individual, which I believe is true, that bore out with my cards at a natural area. I just think he's not given them exact directions. I think he's purposefully, quite possibly purposefully, kept that to himself. But I think he knows exactly where they are. I bet if he really wanted to find it for himself, he could. And I kept getting the religious aspect, and he was, as an ordained minister, I think he brought part of that in when he was, I think, burying his victims, and in connection to, I picked that up with Sara. He had a horrible MO. I really don't want to go into it too much here because it's really unpleasant. But I will put a link, and you can read what he tended to do. And I believe that he was a real torturer, from what I could see. And I don't think Sara, I think he did the same thing to her that he reported as doing to one of his victims, which they were able to find and confirm injuries that he described and what he had done to them. So I also think that there's definitely a lake nearby, a body of water. I got that, and so I think he's given them part of the truth about where they are, but he's kept something really significant to himself about exactly where. I think killing made him feel like he was powerful, and he's just not a well individual. So I picked up that she was buried with a male victim. And the interesting thing was I saw Sara's spirit as being very animated, trying to reach out, trying to get through, I think, to help people to find them. And the male figure I saw was much more dejected and in more of a pessimistic state and very anxious, possibly still running a lot of trauma due to the manner in which he probably passed. Because, like I said, this guy was a torturer. So that made sense when I saw that. Unfortunately. So another interesting fact was I picked up on the name Stephen. And then I was just verifying, because this is what I do. I let myself do the reading, and then I'll go back and see if I can confirm anything. And I saw that he mentioned that he used his middle name, or it is his middle name, as one of, he says, another personality that he has. He may have multiple personality kind of disorder of some kind, I don't know. But I picked up that name, and I almost wasn't going to put it down, because that habit of telling myself, oh, that's just a silly thought in your head, never mind that. You know, I have a tendency to do that. It's like, no, go ahead and write it down. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But when I saw it, I was like, whoa, okay, because that's his middle name. Now, I saw him kind of like, I think, officiating while he was burying, because he had that ordination as a minister. So he's got some weird religious thing going on, because I got also the Hierophant, which is religion and tradition. It's also a teacher. But I got Judgment and the Hierophant, the Ace of Cups, and the Two of Pentacles. And when I saw the deck that I was using was the Haunted House Tarot, and it had two children as the Two of Pentacles, and it was just eerie. And that's the first hit I got. And then to read after I did, to confirm that was such a strange, I mean, I can't make it up. I didn't make it up. But to find it was unnerving. So the interesting thing also was, in using this deck, there is a card that's called the Blessed Child, and it looks like the tombstone angel figure, and it has to do with the loss of innocence. And I was given that card and the Mason jar, which is about protection, and it's also earth. So it made me feel like they were in the ground, and that they would be eventually found, and quite possibly by someone's dog. I know, hold the phone, what the heck are you talking about? But in this specific deck, I did get a dog, and the dog is known to be, not unlike the Lenormand, a symbol of loyalty and devotion. And I also got a card of communication with the dog card. So I felt like that I was being shown there would be kind of a spiritual intervention with the use of a dog. Not kidding. At some point in the future, I think a dog could maybe paw at the ground or find this grave site. Something could attract the dog. And there's been other cases where a dog brings home skull or a bit of remains of something, and the owners have to call, you know, or should I say the caretakers have to call the police. That's happened. And it just really struck me when I got the dog. I just knew and felt like, I feel like a dog may end up. So let's just take mental note of that. I also got the mockingbird. That's the card I was wanting to think of. It's the card of communication and prophecy. And I got the card of kudzu, which is abundant growth and willpower. And so I'm getting that I think an animal like a dog, someone's pet, could disturb the gravesite and lead people to that. Could be somebody out there walking around with their dog, and their dog goes, you know, off and starts digging into the ground or something. I really think that's a possibility. So I just have to put it out there. No matter how foolish I kind of feel doing this, I have to say what I saw. And I won't feel content unless I do. I also saw a lot of pride around him not revealing exactly where they were. That it gives him a sense of pride, like he's so much more intelligent. So I got the blessed child, and I believe they will be found. And I don't know if there's a marsh, or kind of a marshy, wet kind of ground around that upper New York area where they would be. But I kind of got that as a possibility. It just could be like wet ground too. There could be springs or something around the area, because you do have I think he did put them near a lake. I do. And it might be quite scenic. I'm not sure, but I think it's a very kind of an area he felt very comfortable in and protected in to put them there. She has been missing for, I think it's been 28 years at this point. They've been looking around the area of East Glen area of Mount Greylock, which is a 1,060 acre parcel east base of the mountain. Okay. So I'm just going to ask again if Sara Ann and this individual who is buried with her, if they are going to be located in the future. I'm just going to put to it by a dog again, because I saw there was a possibility of intervention by, I think, spirit in drawing attention to where they are. So let's just see. I'm going to go ahead and use the Southern Gothic Oracle, and I've yet to create a little short on this Oracle deck. I've taken all the pictures and stuff. I just need to put it together for like a unboxing, a quick unboxing, but I will put that together as well, because this is a pretty neat oracle. I have found it to be really incredible in its ability to give insight. So will the grave of Sara Ann Wood and the other victim that is in the same gravesite, will they be found, discovered by a dog? Someone's dog. Well, Sara Ann Wood and the other victim she is buried with, will their gravesite be located as a result of a dog discovering the gravesite. All right, let's see what we've got. The painter. Strength. Oh, yeah, the painter. They call it the painter. This is a Southern Gothic Oracle. So they call it the painter, I guess, instead of the panther. But just kind of a, what would you say that? That's a, well, just the way they speak. Dialect. And it's about strength and power. Okay. So we're being shown that. Healing, self-care. Instrument, speaking truth, self-expression. Awakening, shadow work. Yeah, I think it could happen. Because this is, to me with this coffee, it's like the case kicks back up again. Or, now they've got the last aspect of her case, which would be her body. So I think there's a good chance yet. There's been deception. He lied. He lied about, I think, the original place that they were. Instead of the east side or whatever, maybe it's the opposite of that. Maybe it's the west side or just a different area. Because it makes him feel strong to lie. This is a lessening influence when you get the axe. It can lessen the cards that are around it. And that is the card of self-healing and the card of deception. And I think as long as he keeps this secret, there's an aspect that definitely goes being unaddressed. Second chances are magic. Blue moon. I think this is indicative that there could be something like an odd event like that, this odd, unusual circumstance. And it's falling under speaking the truth and self-expression. The crow. There is mourning. It also does say dashed hopes. I think that's definitely how people have come to feel because they have looked, they have searched a lot for her. And so that makes sense. Now I'm going to the last final line. Silence and introspection. Under that, this is all the predator cards. And I definitely think this is to do with Lewis. And there's the solemn book of faith. This is him and his so-called faith. What a weird person. Vanity and pride. What did I tell you? He does not want to give that over. And I think he uses religion as a, I don't know. Altar water. This means there's something very negative that needs clearing, an energy that needs clearing. And it's connected to his pride and his deceit and his causing of mourning and shadow work. So much darkness. diversity, polarity. I also got this card about where she was, or, that there was more than one person. The possum. I think this shows also his predation on more than one person. And he's had the agency of independence to do so. The kind of job he had, etc., provided him an ability. Also, kind of the personality he put forth made some people suspicious, but other people thought that his interest in the children was Mr. Nice Guy. I don't think so. Vanity set, self-awareness, clarity. He knows exactly where they are. This is falling under pride. He's just keeping it to himself, is what the cards are wanting to tell us. But I keep getting this. Third eye, new perspective. And then I was getting cards that would show them being found. So I'm just going to continue, but I'm just going to move it up. New perspective. I think that it's going to require new eyes to find them. And that's why I think it could be something like someone's dog, because I did get the dog. I didn't get it this time, but I still got some of the other cards that make me feel like there's still a chance that, oh my God, the blessed child, there it is, that they'll be found. Lost innocence, purity. Now you see what I mean. And this is the peach, fertility, love. To me, this is finding these children. And he really liked to just, I get like defile and torture. The grove. Now this could be like talking about maybe they're in a grove. I get trees. When I see the burial area, I tend to see that there's trees and then there's an opening or a clearing leading to some water that you might be able to see, or a lake. But I got I did see like trees, a wooded area, or a little bit of a wooded area, maybe in view of a lake. Saw that in my mind's eye. And so getting the grove is interesting. And it's speaking of awe, divinity. To me, this is the divine. And this might be signaling the divine interceding in this matter. Longevity and reliability with the oak. Interesting, we get the grove and we get oak. Is it possible they're in upstate New York, there's a grove of oaks near the area? I don't know, that they're looking at. That's something to consider. There's the mason jar. This is, to me, this can be mentorship, protection, but it's also earthy. These different cards have they are aspects of different elements, and the mason jar is earth. And it's falling under the blessed child card, and this makes me feel like burial again, grave site of the children. The dog! There's the dog. Finding, oh my God, next to the graves, oh my gosh. Homecoming, afterlife, they're going to guide him. I got this too. Dismantling ugly truths. This to me is like dismantling the gravesite. The dog could disrupt it and discover an ugly truth that has been hidden, and that is of children. So I do believe that, as you can see, it took me quite a few cards to get there yet, but I think it's yet to occur. And so I believe very firmly, especially now that I've got this like I did, that she will end up one day being found. And along with, I believe, of course, the person that I feel like the other victim, unfortunately, that I believe is male, was probably also a child. I don't see this man going for a grown male, you know. He went for little kids. So, that is what I have. And we just have to let the universe work that out. So keep this in mind, and should you hear in the future of her being found, this may come back to mind. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave that there and get this out to you. I hope that you're having a great day or evening whenever you catch this. And if you'd be so kind to hit the thumbs up, that really helps my channel. It also helps me to see which content you guys gravitate toward. So then that informs me of what you want to see more of, what you appreciate. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you like this content, and make sure you're subscribed and share with like-minded people. And I thank you very much for your time.